Alaman yun.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever or whenever you may be. This is the overnight, and it's bracket night for all of you bracket lovers. We're gonna do a bracket tonight, a knife bracket, and we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll give people time to show up if they want to show up. But tonight we've got gun websites. How's it going, G-Webs?
Good. Another bracket, though? Really? All right.
Yeah.
We always do brackets.
I was going to ask you, G-Webs, the links you put on your community tab, are those like affiliate links for you or just deals that you saw? I was just
On the
curious.
affiliates tab.
Because
What are we talking about?
you on your community tab, you like a couple sites, Red Dot
You mean here on
YouTube.
On YouTube? No. On
Wasn't it?
On StreamYard? Not StreamYard. What is this thing called? Gilded?
Oh, Gilded. Was it Gilded?
Okay. Because on Gilded, I could put them. I can't put them on YouTube. So I don't
Ah.
think I put them on YouTube, did I?
Might have been Gilded. I don't know. I get confused.
Anyway, yeah, those are affiliate links. Those are.
I did buy the SIG Red Dot.
Oh shit! Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be cool. I can go check and see if it actually works then.
Yeah, because I have a Romeo 5 and an MSR, but I don't like the MSR. So that Romeo 7 should be looks like I'll be happier with that than with the MSR.
That was an experiment with the thing that they've been doing, sending me an email. And I was like, well, instead of sending me this email, why don't I do something with that email? So I put it in places where I'm allowed to put it, I think.
Yeah, but for that price, it was like half off. So I could.
Oh, cool.
I could not buy it because it was $90 on that link. And on Amazon, it's 180. And
crap. Okay.
So it's a good deal. I couldn't pass it up.
I'll start doing that more often then.
Hillbilly, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, buddy. Doing good. Just ready for the mouse party.
Well, that's good to hear. And we've got Guns and Barbecue. How you been doing?
Been doing all right. Just hanging out at Bracket Ridge.
Gizzard Gary's also here. How you doing, Gizzard?
I'm kind of here anyway. I'm doing all right. Just looking at this cool challenge coin.
Well, they're poker chips. They're not challenge coins.
Same thing.
I don't know.
So how much are you worth?
Not much, according to my wife.
Oh,
I've thought about doing challenge coins because they're cool, but to me, challenge coins are more kind of military thing. So I've hesitate to do them.
oh, well, it's pretty cool. Ron Wayne gave this to me this
Ah,
last week. So yeah, it's super cool. I suppose you really have to be somebody to get one of these.
not really. I've got I think I ordered 100 of them, so I've got a bunch. I probably still have 90.
Well, now
Oh.
I have one.
We'll do a giveaway too. Well, I'll give away. X Adam 1 was kind enough. He sent me a few of
Oh,
the survival knives that
Nice.
so I figured tonight would be a perfect time, since we're doing a knife bracket, to give away a knife.
Oh my goodness.
And if X Adam 1, if he wins, then we'll figure out something different for him, since he's the one that sent me
He
these.
can get a poker chip.
I know
Send
a
in
guy
some
who
potato
used to
chips.
give away skinny black knives, but he decided not to do it anymore.
Yep, the skinny black knife ended.
It's sad. End
Those
of an
are-
era.
Those
Are
are
you gonna
neat.
give away? Oh, sorry, Cuss.
I was just gonna say those skinny black knives they're pretty neat. They're a little too skinny to be comfortable in my hand, but they're crazy sharp and pointy. They're like needle sharp on the point.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek, see who was out there in the live chat tonight. Gun Websites was first earlier, and Two Live Moo was out there. Sergeant Joe Smith out there spamming. Vulcan Rumble, and he was saying, remember, a knife is required, a required part of first aid kit, which you are required to have in your boat, your car, and your airplane, according to the Department of Transportation. X Adam 1, he did kind of a test stream tonight earlier, about an hour ago. So he's going to start streaming. Mike McClune and Hillbilly Ozzy Osbourne, which I'm going to continue to say Osbourne unless he tells me to stop, because that is his name. Be loud and proud, Ozzy. I know Ozzy isn't your name, but Osbourne. Baron's out there. And Eric M509. So I think that was everybody that said something. Good evening. Good evening. X Adam 1. So I still have the Andre Giant folding knife. Yep, that's the huge, according to Amazon, they're the huge folding knife, which I bought one to give away because I thought they looked neat, but I liked it so much that I bought another one for me. Big old
Nice.
folding knife.
Yeah, the gun snob would like that. Probably
They
be
call it-
perfect size for him.
The Andre the Giant folding knife.
So, while we chit chat here, what are your guys' favorite kind of knife? G-Webs?
That's a tough one because there's a lot of different knives that I like. So
Yeah.
a lot.
Is there one that comes to mind first?
I'll just say Belly Song.
Yeah. They are cool, and I do like them also. Hillbilly, how about you?
Oh man. I just really like all knives, but if I was gonna have to go with favorite, just I guess because I've just carried one most of my life, it'd be a jackknife like an Uncle Henry or something, tree bladed jackknife.
Hey, can't go wrong with that. That's I was trying to think what my first knife was. I've had jackknives. My first one was one I got from my dad. It had, if I recall, just a single blade, but then it had that spike, that fold-out spike.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I never knew what that was for, but I believe it's for undoing knots, so you can poke the spike into a knot
Mhm.
and loosen a knot.
And some of those had, like, you could poke leather for like a belt, stuff like that also.
Barbecue, how about you?
A sharp one.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
I believe the Boy Scouts say that a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife.
Yes, I believe so. Honestly, knives aren't something that I go and do deep dives into, and like all the palisongs and butterflies. I realize it's the same thing, and all the different names and all the BS. But one that's always appealed to me would probably have to be a Bowie knife.
An American classic? Definitely. I don't have one. I do want to have one someday. Do you like the fatter blade? I can't remember the names for the different styles of Bowie knives. Do you like the fatter blade or the skinnier blade?
Honestly, I like them both. The fatter ones I like just for the aesthetic, but for function, I do like the thinner blades.
I like the look of the thinner ones more, but I've never owned one, so I don't know if, like the little bit fatter would make a significant difference in how I would use it. But Gary, how about you? What's your
So
favorite?
you're not talking brands here. You're just talking about styles, basically.
You can take it any way you want, there, Gary.
If you ask him brands, he's
I mean,
legally
over the
obligated.
last few years, I have grown rather fond of the modern folders, preferably with a drop point blade. I kind of like the assisted opens if you can get those. But yeah, the modern folders, single blades, not super huge, not super tiny. And there's just a multitude of blades that fit that, or knives that fit that bill. But they fit easily in the pocket. They usually end up being more than adequate for most tasks and stuff like that. Plus, you can pretty much match them to whatever style, color, or whatever you want, or whatever you like, however you feel at the time.
Well, good thing you didn't ask brand, because it might be a Gizzard Gary affiliates listen to this later, and we wouldn't want Gary to.
I'm affiliated with several different knife companies.
I know, that's why you can't say a brand.
They're all good.
There you go.
Eric M509 said he picked up a cool Bowie knife with Damascus blade at the Packwood flea market. I am a huge fan of Damascus. I love the look of Damascus. I know some people don't like it, Damascus, because of the upkeep on them, because they can get rusty. But a little bit of oil on them, be fine. Cowgirl Candace likes karambits for gardening. Ozzy said he almost always have had buck knives. I've never. I guess I do. I do own one buck knife, the one that I bought recently, that doesn't look like most other buck knives. but you can't beat the look of the buck knives, the fixed blade buck knives. Classic look to them.
Call that a Bowie.
Yeah.
Close, kind
You
of a
should
Bowie
get-
style, just not as large. Mike McClune said, my dad's friend Vince was a knife maker for a hobby. Have a couple knives he made for his dad years ago. I really would love to make a knife myself, but I don't want to get into blacksmithing. I think I would enjoy it, but I don't want to end up dumping money into another hobby. I'll tend to get into something and then want to have everything for whatever I'm doing. I don't.
Yes.
What if
I
there
don't
was
wanna-
like a club or a place you could go, and then you have time, and then you choose the materials from like a menu, and then they give them to you, and then you go in there and you wail on it for a while, use all their machines and stuff, and then you come out with what you wanted after some amount of time.
Yeah, and there are some forges that you can do classes where you can make a knife.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Baron said, I accidentally cut my arm open with that Andre the Giant knife. It's pretty sharp for an Amazon knife. And Vulcan Rumble, the SA Izulu full tang knife is my favorite, but I cannot afford one. And Gabriel, I like assisted flippers on bearings, especially CRKT Fossil if going heavy. Otherwise, a cheapie. Yeah, I think the first folding knife with bearings, I think, is the one that you gave me, G-Webs, that Civivi.
17 minutes to say Civivi. No, you have to drink every time we say Civivi.
Oh, but it's really smooth. I really like those.
They are. They're addictive. They're like the I don't know, hard liquor of knives lately.
You can't buy just one.
Nope.
Cowgirl Candace, my Bowie's name is Sheila.
I've never named any of my knives. They
I've
usually
got,
already come with names.
I've got like 15 of those friggin' Civivis now. It's ridiculous.
Oh man.
They have way more than that.
I know.
I don't name stuff. Like my cars. I've never named my car other than whatever brand. The Honda is the Honda. It's not like Bob the Honda. I just don't. Never gotten into naming stuff.
I only name things if it calls me where I'm like, this has earned a name.
I name my animals.
Yeah.
My old Nissan Versa was called Car. But
Car.
mm-hmm.
Defense Dad's out there. He's saying, shouldn't you all be in bed by now? Didn't your mamas teach you that nothing good happens after midnight?
I didn't listen to my mom.
Yeah, it's only 11 o'clock.
When one of my daughters was young, we had a gray Suburban, and she had just kind of started talking, and she called it the gay Berber.
Mr. Bob Dabalina, my EDC knife is a Buck 503 Prince. Very thin lock blade with wood scales. It's about 2.5 or 3 inches long. A classy look. Started carrying it when I wore suits for work. And Barron said he had a van called the Pickle Mobile. Did it have shag? Was it the Pickle Tickle Mobile?
If you're going to wear suits to work, you need to carry a CEO. That's a CRKT knife. That is the ultimate gentleman's carry knife.
So let's take a look at the knives. I gotta open this at the knives, and then there's a couple that I kind of need you guys to vote on. There we go. Open on which one to add. So we'll go window, and there we go. So for the bracket, we've got most of them are styles of knives. There's a couple that are the brands just because they're kind of iconic names. But we've got the Swiss Army knife, which I have a couple, and I really like. I use my Swiss Army knife all the time. But the Swiss Army knife, and with most of the knives, there'll can be slight variations in styles by different brands. So the ones I chose were just ones that I thought looked nice and kind of ones that I would choose. But there's the Tanto, a Japanese style knife. Throwing knives. A bayonet. This is the M9 bayonet. Bowie knife. This is the little bit fatter blade. I kind of prefer the little bit thinner blade. A buck knife. The buck was kind of the name, and this is what I think of when I think of buck. Is this knife? The Balisong or butterfly knife. Dagger. This is the Fairburn Sykes. Basic folding knife. I know this one probably could have chosen a better picture of a folding knife, but when I was looking at pictures, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I ended up buying the knife because I was looking at all the knives. Found a Gerber fixed blade that was discontinued. $12. So I don't know if that's good because it was such a good deal or bad because I didn't really need another knife, but I bought one.
Sounds like a good thing.
Gravity knife. And this is one that this is one of the choices that I'm going to have you guys vote on, and I'll show you the other one when we get to it here. But the gravity knife is basically you push down that lever, and if you hold it upside down, it slides out.
This totally screams West Side Story.
The K-bar. Another iconic. I have had a K when I was in sixth grade. I bought a K-bar from another classmate, and then my mom made me take it back to him.
This is the other one that I really, really like next to the Bowie.
Yeah, it's one that I've always wanted, and I've gone to buy them, and for some reason, just never bought one yet.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
I have like 4 or 5 different kinds. It's tough because there is K bars, but there's like 7 different kind of K bars.
I kind of really want the Space Force one with the blue handle.
Me too.
The Karambit, which I've never owned a Karambit. I don't. They don't appeal to me.
I want to get a Karambit just to go and run around the yard and act like a Velociraptor. But then if I do that, Slider's going to want to do it, and I can't let him run around the yard with a knife.
Kukri. And I've never owned a Kukri. I've almost bought one. I forget which brand it was, but it had the jade scales. So I really wanted it, but I think I was gonna buy it, and my wife happened to walk by and told me, no, you don't need it.
A lot of those Karambits come with, or not come with, but have trainer models, that are blade, with the fake blade. Might do something like that for them.
Interesting.
An OTF and out the front knife. This is the other one to choose between a gravity knife or the out the front knife to put in our bracket?
Out the front, nobody buys gravity knives. They're illegal pretty much everywhere. Well,
Yeah.
they're not illegal. They used to be illegal everywhere. Then nobody buys them. Well, I should say nobody makes them. They're only made by a German company, really.
Yeah,
No.
they were for the paratroopers, so if they got stuck in the trees, they could cut themselves down.
Now,
I think they just make them because I have a more modern one. I mean, they started making them again in like, well, at least they started selling them again in like 14 or something. And then I found an orange one that I bought that's from firefighters, and I don't think they're smoke jumpers. I think they're just plain old firefighters.
Hmm.
So I think it's just the German company still makes them. They have the design or they have the machine, so they just keep making them.
What were you saying, Hillbilly?
well, I was going to say, when I was growing up, these, what they call out the front knives, back then they were called switchblades, and they were illegal to have. Illegal to have.
Yeah.
Well, there's switchblades, but there's also the the kind that open like a regular.
Yeah, I was gonna say here in PA, switchblade is any knife that's operated by a switch or a button, and it can come out the front or it can just flip open like a, flipper.
Like any knife, yeah.
Yeah.
But since this is our bracket, we can include whatever knife, whichever of the two that we want. But
I'd
sounds like
say leave gravity off and put switchblades in there.
so out the front. I'm fine with whichever.
I mean, if
In the
you're gonna
back?
have switchblades.
A skinning knife, which is you see a lot of people, outdoorsy people, that will kind of lean towards the skinning style knife. A little fatter near the front there.
I always
The
saw
stiletto,
those.
your
And I thought it
classic.
was for like making a sandwich.
The stiletto. This is your classic switchblade.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Survival knife.
I just bought one of these.
And so that's the knives that we're going to add in our bracket. Let me go ahead and close that down. And X Adam 1 was saying, don't you have a buck knife already? Yes, I do have that. The buck, I forget what the number is. Flipper. And he also said, out the front knives and the springs wear out. They stop ejecting with enough force to lock in. I ended up having to pull the blade out to lock into place. Novelty knives only. The other kind of problem is when you're opening them, if they hit something and it can stop them from opening all the way. There's not enough force to force it open. But as Eric M509 saying, we can't legally have stuff like Microtex. We can't have in Washington. You can't have spring assisted knives.
But it's for safety, so it's worth it.
Yeah, you still can. I've seen them for sale in Washington, but legally you're not supposed to have them. You can have one where the spring helps keep the knife closed, keep the blade closed, but not one that is intended to help it open. And next Adam was saying, I thought skinning knives had a little hook. Some do. The gut knives will have that little hook for gutting. Not all of them do. Not all the skinners do. And the knife like Rambo, yes, the survival knife like Rambo. And Gary will hopefully be back in a little bit. He was saying his internet was a little wonky, so
Bring me the knife of Rambo.
The survival knife I just got literally is supposed to be the Rambo knife.
let's see. So let me add in the out the front knife. So we've got well, here, let me do the shuffle. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. So
Did
we'll
anybody
have
truffle?
what's that?
I asked if anybody truffled.
No, I icky sometimes.
Nice.
Kukri versus Karambit. Stiletto versus throwing knife. Swiss Army knife versus out the front knife. Bowie knife versus K-bar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a
I
tough.
feel like it would just be really easy to hit that shuffle button again.
Oh,
I
should
mean,
I
this is
shuffle?
America. You have freedom.
Should I shuffle again, or should I stick with what we have?
You even have the power to make a poll and let the audience vote on it.
I always forget about that poll, so I will do a poll since we're kind of waiting for Gary to jump back in. Should I shuffle? Yes or no?
How many times did you hit random already?
Oh, wow, 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
So we'll let that run for a little bit as we're kind of waiting. And then after the bracket, we'll do the giveaway.
Oh, snap.
The winner's going to get the winner of the bracket.
Vulcan Rumble. The U.S. Air Force requires a knife to be able to punch through aluminum to make a shelter from aircraft wreckage. Have you tested your knife to see if it would go through aluminum?
Yes. I just walk over to the Air Force Base and start hacking on an airplane. They get mad sometimes.
Go over to the graveyard.
Yep, exactly.
Say
They were like, I was about to sell that wing.
Coke can stands no chance from us, the VV.
Yeah, I was going to say a White Claw will definitely get the knife.
That could be a video for you right there. So 62% here. I think I heard somebody. There's Gary.
Hey.
So 62% said reshuffle. So how many times should I reshuffle? Just once or give it a few clicks?
Have Gizzard pick. He just got back.
How many times should I reshuffle, Gary?
Twice.
There we go. All right. So the new lineup, we've got out the front knife versus folding knife, kukri versus skinning knife, bayonet versus Swiss Army knife, throwing knife versus stiletto, karambit versus survival knife. God damn it. K-bar versus buck knife. I don't think it's gonna keep happening, so we're sticking with what we got here. The Balisong, another one versus Bowie knife, and dagger versus Tonto.
That's an interesting last one.
Yeah, I've never owned a Tonto. I mean, I've got one which is supposed to be a Tonto style tip, but it doesn't really look like it to me.
I want to get a Tonto chef's knife just because, but I want to get like a true Japanese chef's knife.
So I thought you had a skinny black knife, Foss.
Oh, I do. That's right. That is a
I can
Tonto.
say that's a
style.
Tonto.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid watching Lone Ranger, I wanted to have a Tonto too. Trim.
I did look at I think it was the Cold Steel Tonto at the gun shop, but the handles are not. They're too skinny. They don't feel good in your hand. So our first matchup is the out the front knife versus the folding knife. Gary, which are you going to choose?
Folding knife.
So one for the folding knife. G-Webs,
Sorry, what's the choices again?
out the front versus folding.
Folding.
2 for folding. Hillbilly,
They're neat looking, but they're too fragile.
Yeah, I'd have to go with folding knife too, because the 2 out front knives I got, the springs just don't hold up.
barbecue. How about you?
I don't know. There's something about 1950s greasers, teenage gang bangers, that want to flip out their out the front knives and try and cut each other. That just makes them so cool. I'm gonna go with the out the front folder, or out the front folder. Good God, I need sleep. I'm sorry. Gonna go with the out the front knife.
Out the front knife. And Guns and Waters is out there. Good evening. Eric M509 saying folding. Mike McLuhan is folding. And Guns and Water won the giveaway. Was it Wednesday? So he said he got his stuff today. That's good, because the tracking said like Tuesday, next Tuesday. So I'm glad you got it. Mike McLuhan said OTF is a novelty fidget spinner for dudes. So I'm gonna go folding knife. Out the fronts they're cool, but if I had to choose one, I would choose a folding knife. So now we've got the kukri versus a skinning knife. Gizzard.
I'm gonna go with the skinning knife.
Skinning knife. G-Webs, how about you?
Yeah, me too. Sandy.
Really?
Oh, those other ones. Wait, no. Are you talking about the karambit? I'm thinking of karambit. I'll go with the kukri.
So we've got 1 and 1. Hillbilly, how about you?
I live in here in Ozark Mountains. I better go with the skinning knife.
Skinning knife. Barbecue.
Definitely the Skinner.
3. I'm gonna say kukri, but skinning knife is gonna move on. So now we've got the bayonet versus the Swiss Army knife. Gary?
Well, I don't own a bayonet, but I do own a Swiss Army knife, so I'm gonna say Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife. G-Webs?
I like Swiss Army knives, but I'll go with bayonet on this one.
I kind of thought you would go with bayonet.
I'm not
you
surprised.
You have is it an extension? Do you have a plethora of bayonets?
Yes, I have a lot of them for sure.
Hillbilly? Bayonet
Um,
or Swiss Army knife?
I like to eat, so I'm gonna go with the Swiss Army knife. I need my fork and spoon. My spork.
Barbecue?
This is tough.
Bayonets are cool, but the Swiss Army knives are more useful.
Yeah, but then I always get mad because you lose the tweezers out of them, and then you lose the toothpick, and then they're virtually useless at that point. You're like, why do I even have this thing? Like the two things I want most out of this thing, I never have. And I say, like, do I really need this big bulky knife? I bought it for a toothpick. I swear. No, I'm gonna have to go with a Victorinox.
So 3 for Swiss Army knife, and we've got out there Eric saying Swiss, Sergeant Joe Smith Swiss, Mike is Swiss, X Adam 1 is Swiss. Vanessa Kitty's out there. Good evening. And so I'm gonna say Swiss Army knife. Bayonets are cool. I don't have one. I want one. But my Swiss Army knife, I still use it all the time. So I'm good. So now we've got throwing knife versus stiletto. Gary?
That's kind of tough. I'm gonna go with the stiletto, I guess.
1 for stiletto. Garage guys out there. Good evening. G Webs.
You count that Sykes Fairbairn as a stiletto?
Nope, that goes in the dagger.
Oh, okay. Stiletto was the one
Switchblade. Yeah.
Oh. Versus what was it again?
Throwing knife.
Oh, throwing knife for sure. Those other ones are neat, but they break all the time too.
Hillbilly?
I'm gonna have to go with the stiletto and a high heel red.
So 2 for stiletto.
The trick
Barbecue?
is to tie a big piece of shot cord to your knife so that you can just yank it back.
Barbecue, stiletto, or throwing knife?
Stilettos are cool, but I feel like you got to go throwing knife because like you start throwing knives and you start throwing ninja stars. Next thing you know, you can start training to be a ninja turtle. Like it's gonna be a good life at that point. Going throwing knives.
And Eric saying throwing knife. X Adam once. You throw that knife and it's gone forever. I have lost one in the woods before. And Sergeant Joe Smith said stiletto. I'm gonna go throwing knife. I have never owned a stiletto. I would like to have one, but I've owned throwing knives and they're cool. Cooler. To me, they're cooler than stilettos. So now we've got karambit versus a survival knife. Giz or Gary?
Oh, let's go survival knife.
1 for the survival knife. G-Weds?
Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing something else, so I missed that one again. What was it?
Karambit versus survival knife.
Oh, survival knife all day long.
Hillbilly?
Survival knife, please.
Barbecue.
Velociraptors died for a reason. Rambo killed everybody. We're going with the survival knife.
So out there we've got Sergeant Joe Smith, survival. Mike McLuhan says karambit. Eric says survival. Ozzy says survival. Marty Davis is out there. Good evening. Vulcan Rumble, survival. X Adam 1, survival. I'm going to say survival. I've never been a big fan of the karambits. So survival's moving on. Now we've got the toughie. K-bar versus buck knife. Gary?
Buck.
Buck? G-Webs, K-Bar versus Buck Knife.
This one's easy for me. I'm obligated to say it, even though people don't like to hear it. 2008, paid a lot of money to get to NRA show in North Carolina. What was it? Charlotte, North Carolina. And went over to the booth, to the Buck booth, thinking I was going to do a review with them. I had already done ones with other knife companies. And I'm still talking about it in 2024, how rudely I was treated by the Buck people. I haven't even wanted a Buck since then. And I don't like to say that. I grew up with Bucks too. I liked them. But they were so weird and mean to me and my crew that I've never wanted a Buck again. So, and plus I like, what was the other option again?
K-Bar.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of K-Bars. Like I say, I think a shit ton. I have a lot of K-Bars. So every time I see another K-Bar, I like it. So I'm going to say K-Bar for sure.
I understand how you feel. You know, there's a couple companies that I won't buy their stuff. Even though it's good stuff, just I didn't like how I got treated. So
and they're a family company, so it's not like I can say, oh, it's just some guy. Like, nah, whatever. It's a family. Come on, just how you are.
A hillbilly.
Man, this is a tough one for me, so I'm going to do my one pass over to the side chat.
Oh, so hillbillies
Oh,
sending it out to the chat.
Oh, snap.
To barbecue, K-Bar, or Buck Knife?
I would like to say that this is a tough one for me. Honestly, I mean, especially with the two photos that you used, these knives are actually very similar in profile. Handles are slightly different, but I love a good K-Bar, and it's nothing against the Buck. That style Buck that you shared, I love that style Buck, but like I said, the K-Bar, like Bowie is probably 1A, K-Bar's got to be 1B for me. And that style Buck, I mean, it's probably number 2. But yeah, going with K-Bar.
So K-Bar. 1, 2. Okay, yeah. Just making sure I didn't. So we've got Ozzy saying Buck, Marty saying K-Bar, Eric K-Bar, Mike Buck, Guns and Water Buck, X Adam was asking which K-Bar. It was just kind of your basic K-Bar. Sergeant Joe Smith K-Bar.
3-3.
Well, that doesn't help.
No, it's a tough decision for me too. But I love both of them. So surely there's somebody out there that's not said Buck or K-Bar.
Well, it says there's 14 people, and there's only like six people that voted. So I need one more person to say to vote K-Bar or Buck Knife.
I don't remember you saying Candace or Baron. We can peer pressure one of them.
Adam 1 just broke it.
He
Then Sergeant Joseph unbroken.
Sergeant Joseph.
Yeah, he already voted once. So.
What?
Nah, he voted twice.
So are we saying Buck won it?
That's what I saw.
All right. What? Oh no, I didn't vote yet. So that would tie it up.
That ties it up.
And I'm going K-Bar. If somebody had one in each hand and said choose one, I would choose the K-Bar over the Buck. I love the way the Buck looks. I have always loved the way the buck looks, but the K-bar is a K-bar. So now we've got the Balisong versus the Bowie knife. So a butterfly knife versus a Bowie knife. Gary?
Bowie knife, you can actually cut something with it besides your own hand.
So one for Bowie. G-Webs.
Butterfly.
Hillbilly.
I'm gonna go with the Bowie knife.
It's a 2 for Bowie. Barbecue.
Once again, the idea of like 1950s teenage gangster greasers just wanting to cut each other and flashing around ballad songs and all that makes these things look awesome. But I really do love Bowie knives, so I have to go with the Bowie knife on this one.
So one more for Bowie knife. And there we go. So for the giveaway, it's hashtag knife. So push hashtag knife out there if you want to be entered to win patches and some stickers and one of the survival knives. Courtesy of X Adam 1. So you said Bowie?
Yes, sir.
So, that's a toughie. Let's look at we've got Eric says Bowie. Oops. My chat jumped around on me here. There we go. Bowie. Mike says Bowie. X Adam Bowie. And then we get the hashtags. Oh. This is tough. It's really tough because I love butterfly knives. I have owned some. My first ones I had when I was in junior high.
Same here.
Geez, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say Bowie. So now we've got Dagger versus Tonto. Gary?
Tonto.
One for Tonto. G-Webs. Dagger versus Tonto.
That's a tough one, but Dagger. Sykes Fairbairn wins.
A Hillbilly.
I sure like a good Tonto blade. I'm gonna go with Tonto.
A Barbecue.
Yeah, I've had a couple pocket knives that had a Tonto blade, and I was not really impressed with those. But like I said, I would like to actually get a true Japanese chef's knife with a Tonto blade. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But then I'm really worried I'd be disappointed by it. I'm gonna have to go with a Dagger.
So 2 and 2 are tied up here, and we've got Sergeant Joe Smith, Dagger, Ozzy, Tonto, Guns and Water, Tonto, Mike McCoon, Tonto. I'm gonna go. Ooh, I think I'm gonna go Dagger. The Tontos are cool, and I would love to have set with the Tonto, the Wakizashi, and the I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of the bigger sword. Would love to have those, but I want a good set,
Katana?
and that means what's that?
Katana?
Katana, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would love to have the full set, but I want a good set, and that means a lot of money. But so Dagger's going to move on. Now we're moving into round 2.
I feel like your wife will say you don't need it.
Well, yes, she has said that. We've had that discussion many times in the past. So we've got folding knife versus a skinning knife. Gary?
Ooh.
Folding knife.
Folding knife. G-Webs? Folding knife, skinning knife.
I guess folding knife because it's such a broad one.
And Hillbilly?
Oh man, I actually do have a folding knife that I use sometimes for skinning. It's got a skinning blade on it, so I guess I'd go with folding knife because of that reason.
It's folding knife. So Guns and Barbecue.
Well, not that it matters because folding knife is already won, but if we're considering the Skinner to be just a fixed blade, because like Hillbilly has pointed out, he does have a Skinner that is a folder, and I have seen those. But I was gonna vote for the Skinner just based on it being assumed to be a fixed blade, and just less moving parts, and theoretically, like shit hit the fan, something like that. I want less moving parts on everything I own because, it's one less thing to have to worry about breaking. So I'm going with the Skinner.
So 1 for the skinning knife. Out there we've got Eric says folder, X Adam 1 folder, Sergeant Joe Smith said paring knife. Mike folder, Ozzy folder, Vulcan Rumble Skinner. Sergeant Joe Smith is just naming kitchen knives. Guns and Water said paring knife is a vegan Skinner.
It's a skinning knife for vegans.
So I'm going to go folding knife.
It's more ethical than using a butcher knife.
So now we've got Swiss Army knife versus throwing knife. Gary?
Swiss Army.
Swiss Army. G-Web, Swiss Army or throwing knife?
Well, even though I can throw a Swiss Army knife, I'll go with throwing knife.
1 for throwing knife. Hillbilly.
I'm gonna go with the Swiss Army knife, buddy.
Swiss Army knife. So 2 for Swiss Army knives. Barbecue.
I'm really not happy about this pairing because I have to choose between a folding spork or possibly training to be a Ninja Turtle. And that's tough. Like, there's a certain nostalgia for me with sporks. Just growing up, like, pretty freaking cool. You don't see sporks anymore either. Like, I don't know why, unless you're in prison.
KFC. They have them.
Do they still?
Have a good night, Bob.
Son of a gun. Going
So which
throwing knives. Throwing knives.
Throwing knife?
What about throwing spork?
Somebody mentioned earlier the K-Bar spork. The K-Bar spork sucks. I own one. It's too shallow. The bowl on the spoon part is not deep enough. So it works. The knife in it works really well. It's in the handle. It's really sharp. It's a serrated knife, plastic serrated knife. The knife works well, but when it makes it tough to eat with it.
I believe a super awesome person in a giveaway sent me K-Bar chopsticks.
Yes. The K-Bar chopsticks aren't that great either. I handed them to my wife, and as soon as she put them in her hand, she shook her head no and gave them back to me. So I'm. Oh God, I love the Swiss Army knife. I'm gonna vote throwing knife. I don't know why. I'm gonna vote throwing knife.
What are all you guys gonna do with these throwing knives?
Throw them.
Just walk over there and grab them.
Because people are always throwing knives around all the time.
Did
No wonder
you
you guys
see?
don't have good knives if you're throwing them all the time.
Have you seen the John Wick movies?
Mm-mm.
There's a scene where they end up in kind of a small room, and there's display cases with knives, and so they break the cases. And John Wick and there's like 2 or 3 bad guys just start hucking knives at each other, and they're hitting like sideways and not sticking. And
That was a good scene.
yeah, I don't. Like I said, I love my Swiss Army knife. I've got the Fisherman and the Champ, but I'm just going with
You
the cool
can
factor on
actually
this
carry
one.
them and you can use them for something. You can't use a throwing knife for anything other than throwing at somebody.
Well, you hold it up, look cool,
Yeah.
do it on your face, look cool.
My dad has 5 balanced stone knives. He's had ever since I can ever remember, and they are really cool. And he can throw them really good, or used to. I don't think he's thrown them in a while, but yeah, when somebody can throw them right, it's pretty cool to watch.
So now we've got Survival Knife versus K-Bar. Gary,
K-bar.
K-Bar. G-Webs, Survival Knife or K-Bar?
Survival knife's fake. K-bar's real. K-bar.
K-Bar. Hillbilly?
Oh man, I think I'd go with the K-bar. I believe.
3 for K-Bar. Barbecue?
I mean, Rambo never carried a K-bar and just disemboweled somebody, but in reality, the K-bar is way easier to handle. Definitely going with the K-bar.
Oh, we've got Guns and Water said K-Bar. Sergeant Joe Smith, Survival. Eric, K-Bar. Ozzy, K-Bar. Mike, Survival Knife. X Adam 1, Survival Knife. I'm going to say, my vote doesn't really matter here. I'm going to say Survival Knife. For no other reason than Arnold. But so K-Bar is moving on. So now we've got Bowie Knife versus Dagger. Gary?
Bowie knife.
Bowie Knife. G-Webs, Bowie Knife or Dagger?
The Dakar.
Hillbilly?
I'm gonna go with the Bowie knife.
Bowie Knife. Barbecue?
Bowie.
Bowie. And we've got X Adam 1, Bowie. Sergeant Joe Smith. Dagger. Eric, Bowie. Mike, Bowie. Guns and Water, Bowie. Mike McLuhan wants that Dagger pistol. I'm going to say Bowie Knife. So Bowie is going to move on. Now we've got folding knife versus throwing knife. Gary?
Folding knife.
Folding knife. G-Webs, folding knife or throwing knife?
Folding knife. That I throw.
Hillbilly?
I want to go with a folding knife with a skinning blade.
Folding knife. Barbecue.
Folding knife or throwing knife?
Yep.
I'm still going same premise of I want less moving parts. I'm going throwing knife.
Ah. So we've got Eric saying folder, Mike folder, Guns and Water folder, Sergeant Joe Smith folder. I'm gonna say folder. I thought this one was gonna be unanimous. So far, the only one that was unanimous was Survival Knife over Karambit.
Because Karambits can suck it.
So now we've got K-Bar versus Bowie Knife. So this was the pairing that why we reshuffled.
Yeah.
So Gary, K-Bar, Bowie Knife.
Bowie knife.
Bowie Knife. G-Webs, K-Bar, Bowie Knife.
The Kabar.
K-Bar. So 1-1. Hillbilly?
I sure watched a lot of Daniel Boone. I'm gonna have to go with the Bowie knife.
Bowie. 2 for Bowie Knife. Barbecue.
I'm going to go with the K-bar.
Oh, we're tied up. And out there we've got Guns and Water, Stan Bowie, Sergeant Joe, K-Bar, Eric, Bowie, Mike, Bowie, Vulcan Rumble, Bowie. Oh, I don't know. This is tough. I think I'm gonna go Bowie. Going David Bowie.
Oh,
It's tough. That's a tough one.
it
for him.
is.
It definitely was a tough one.
At least we reshuffle and make that a first rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our final is Folding Knife versus Bowie Knife. Gary,
Folding knife.
Folding Knife. One for Folding Knife. G-Webs, Folding Knife or Bowie Knife?
I'm going to have to say folding also. Even though Bowies are nice and everything, you're not going to carry one every day.
Hillbilly?
Man, in this situation, I think I'm gonna go with a folding knife since it's not limited, to the size blade and stuff.
Barbecue?
So I'm not thinking just like, just like every day right now. What if I was going on a trip? What if I was going to pick something for like, hey, I'm planning for shit hit the fan, whatever the case might be. And like I said, that's why I was saying like, oh, I'd rather have a knife with less moving parts earlier. But even then, like Bowie knife, can be a big, heavy knife. I'm gonna say pass on this one.
What?
Right?
Oh. So it's up to the
Oh, I
chat.
guess it doesn't matter anyways.
I don't know. You can vote or you can send it to the chat, whichever you like.
Well, I mean, there's already 3 votes for folder
Yeah.
anyways, but I mean, we can see what the chat says.
Uh-oh. I lost where we ended off at the last one between the Bowie and K-Bar, so I'm not sure which Bowies are for this
Oh,
round.
snap. I guess I'll just have to vote then. I'm gonna have to Go with folder.
Boulder. I was gonna go Bowie, but until G-Web's talked about the practicality of the folding knife, if I lived more in the country, I might say Bowie. But you can get large folding knives, like the large folder, and this one is nice because it even has a pin to lock the blade open. I guess I'm gonna say folder.
It's like that's something I was thinking about, boss. Is like, out where I live, like Bowie knife, using it for things where I'm using a machete sometimes, where like maybe I didn't have a machete, or my machete happened to land in the pond again this year or something. Like Bowie knife would be great, but again, big heavy knife, would you want to be lugging that around? Now, if this would have been K-bar versus the folder, I don't think it would have been hesitation for me.
So folding knife is our winner. Burp, burp, burp. Congratulations, folding knife.
Kinda makes sense. It's the most practical. Everybody's
It's
got one.
kind of hard to
Right?
clean your fingernails with a Bowie knife.
So now we need to do a giveaway.
But you look so badass when you clean your teeth with it.
So if you have not put the hashtag knife, I will give you a minute or two here to put your hashtag out there. And there we go. It was the StreamYard was not showing me the entries. So let me redo it so we can make sure everybody's, well, it's showing 0 entries. So let's see what happens. Yeah, it's not even giving me a. So everybody put the hashtag knife in again because StreamYard is being difficult. It's showing me people now, so. Hashtag knife. I know we had more entries earlier, so get your entries in. You need to respell yours, barbecue. There you go. So we've got 9 entries. We'll give it just a little bit longer to make sure. X Adam 1 saying everybody fell asleep. Probably. I think half the panel's fallen asleep. All right. Hopefully everybody has entered who wants to enter. And 3, 2, 1. We're gonna draw. The winner is Gizzard Gary.
Gary.
Yeah.
No way.
Congratulations,
Gary.
That guy needs a knife.
He does that.
Well, he's gonna get a survival knife.
Nice. I don't have one of those.
Yep, you are going to get this.
Maybe he'll vote differently now.
Well, now that I get a
It's
chance
got-
to see one, yeah.
It's got the compass and the sharpening stone.
I used to have one similar to that, except for I think mine may have been in camouflage back in the day.
Very
I had,
cool.
when I was in grade school, I had one just like this.
I'll do a review on it.
There you go.
Got a bottle opener, sawtooth edge. So I'll get this sent out to you next week.
Alrighty, thank you.
Hopefully, I'll try and get it out Monday, but no absolute guarantees.
Okay.
And you'll get a patch, so you'll finally get the patch and some stickers.
Nice.
So congratulations, Gary. Oh, what else do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about anything? Are we all done? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm. What are we doing?
I feel like a Valley Song throwing dagger should have won.
With the switchblade. Made by K-Bar. In collaboration with Buck.
It opens with a switch.
Yeah, I've got a couple daggers here. I've got the single edge and the double edge.
Get
I-
a
Actually-
Buck blade and a K-Bar handle.
I just bought a dagger recently as well.
I was doing a review on, because I had the single edge. I was doing a review on that and figured out that there's a double-edged one that I didn't realize there was, which I would have rather had. So I bought the double-edged one. And I need to redo my review on this one, but I can't decide, do I want to just review them both at the same time? Or do two reviews, but the two reviews will be almost identical. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to decide what to do. I'm open to suggestions.
If you were shopping for one, would you rather watch one video that talked about both of them, or just a video about the one you're interested in buying that alludes to the other one?
I would rather see both. But I don't know, because that's, I'm thinking about it, so that might be tainting my view of.
Ozzy's out there. He said he sent you a picture, Foss.
Oh yeah, I saw him said that. I meant to give me just a second here,
He's
Ozzy.
been
and I'll-
sewing while he was watching this, so he probably.
I'll get that open here. Yeah, it's a holster update. Not what I want to do. There we go. So let me show the holster. It's the one with the snake skin.
Nice.
I do like that snake skin insert.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty slick.
I like it.
Indeed. Good job, Ozzy.
But if you want some copperhead skin, I can probably get you some of that this summer.
He's saying it's Asian cobra. Very nice. Guns Water, I think he was responding to my question. He's saying both sounds better, doing both at once. And X Adam 1 saying, Hillbilly, don't send him a live copperhead in the box.
It's a DIY copperhead sewing kit.
It'll be fresh.
Believe it or not, I think it's about 4 years ago, we killed a copperhead that was from behind the head. So, well, head to toe, I think it's 46 inches. And I thought, man, this must be some type of record for area. And it was not. It was, up there close. But we ended up giving it to a buddy of mine, and he put it on a leather belt. And it turned out really nice.
Oh, there's rattlesnakes in eastern Washington. When I used to go down, we'd go down to I forget what dam it is, but there's rocks that go down to the river, and you'd have to kind of be careful because there'd be rattlesnakes in the rocks. But luckily, I'd always hear them first, so you could stay away from them. First time I ran into it, I didn't know what the noise was because it kind of sounded like a paper bag in the wind.
Yeah.
And it was just a little one.
Well, we have pygmy rattlers down here, and they're pretty small, but they're very dangerous. My uncle got bit by one and in the hospital for over a week, and I want to say that venom that they gave him was something like $10,000 a vial or something like that.
Ugh.
Thank goodness he had insurance.
There is a guy I worked with that he said when I think he was working in Texas, he got bit by a copperhead, and he said the force of the head hitting him hurt worse than the initial bite.
Oh yeah,
just the force of it, the strike. Yeah, and I don't remember what else. This was 30 years ago that I worked with him, but he said that initial impact of the head hitting him hurt more than the fangs sinking in.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever been hit by one is in a leather boot, and you don't like wonder if you got hit with a snake. You know it. I mean, you literally can feel it, even through a leather boot.
Vulcan Rumble's asking. Not sure if he's asking Ozzy or asking everybody. Have you met the guy in Tampa at the Tampa Gun Show that does iguana holsters?
I wouldn't want to carry an iguana around, but if I did carry one around, I figure I'd carry it in a holster.
It's the only safe way to do it.
Iguana carry. I mean, it's the best way to carry, isn't it?
A lot of people in Florida agree.
I'm definitely pro iguana skin. That is some of the best, toughest stuff. We used to get just in Mexico, across the line, and get a pair of iguana boots, and like you literally could get like 10 years out of the material on the boots. Very tough. Very
Mexico or Mexico, Missouri?
In Mexico.
Seriously. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary.
Yeah.
Mr. Gizzard Gary.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to plug?
Sure. See, I got a couple of knife reviews. Well, it should all be on one video, but got a new Civivi release this coming Tuesday. So look for that. Of course, knife shorts every day during the week. And, of course, Foul Territory at 9 p.m. on Friday. So thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. G-Webs? Anything? Well, here. Wait a minute. Let me plug something first. Well, GearWebsites.com for 2A stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting, and so much more. GearWebsites.com. Is there anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
Bally Song knives and daggers. give them a try.
Indeed. Hillbilly, tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, buddy. I got a video coming out this week on the Silisi Oak optic for a pistol, and a couple others. And of course, we have Guns, Bear, and Therapy next Saturday night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, and it'll be the debut for what replaces the skinny black knife.
Oh. Barbecue. Is there anything you want to plug?
I'll have a video coming out at some point this week. It's pretty mediocre, but then again, it's a Guns N' Barbecue production. It's what should be expected. Over on my Blind Guy Photography Instagram, I finally got some photos up from PJW States Wrestling. So if people are interested in checking that out for some reason, they can go check those out. I think that's all I've got. Thanks for the invite.
I appreciate you being here. So here, hang on. Now, come on. Let's do that. Then we'll do, here is a link. Oh, crap. Hold on. Wait for the slow guy. There we go. So here's a link for Blind Guy Photography on Instagram.
Well, thank you for that, sir.
There you go. For a blind guy, you take very good pictures. They're very well done, sir.
Well, thank you. I try. I was actually thinking about switching the name to Blind Squirrel Photography, just because normally when I get told that, instead of always just saying thank you, I say, oh, well, Blind Squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. Then I was like, oh, shit, instead of Blind Guy Photography, I could just call it Blind Squirrel Photography.
I was going to ask you, is it because you like the nut, but there's too many kids in your pictures that just sounds gross. So I appreciate everybody on the panel here, and congratulations once again, Gizzard Gary.
Thank you.
And I forgot to do the banner, but that seems to be par for the course there. For everybody that was out there in the live chat, I appreciate it. And those who were watching and didn't say anything, I do appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to say something. Let me know that you're out there. Like Larry Knopf creeping in here at the very end. He probably just got home. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree. Well, what's your favorite knife? I read all the comments. They are always appreciated. Their next chat is Wednesday. Next weekend is an off night. So yeah. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.
You still here? It's over. Go home.